Hello everyone. So I'm gonna start the screen recording, open the project. Yeah, and I'm gonna go about with this in two phases. First, reviewing the classification while giving the feedbacks, and second, going through these tabs and how it can be done better and what would be better for us to go forward with this tool. So this is the classification tab. Right now I cannot see the classifications. It's written here, but again I would want to see a detailed classification note because some vendors go into multiple categories also. So I'll add level 1 to 3. So as a default, we prefer our spend category in a hierarchical format itself, like rather than this being L1 into L3, it could be a single spend category with a drop down method, and we have our amounts and percentage as a measure to begin with. Now coming on to the vendors, first we have Wills Boston Towers. So I'll do a double click. It goes into corporate insurance. The line description says corporate insurance. It's a insurance company, we're aware. So we'll go about with it. Okay, looks good. Then we have Ideal Dental INC. So it says clinical equipment. A very small part is going into clinical equipment, which is hardly like what 4% of this spend. Am I right? Yeah, hardly 4% of the spend. So we can just move it into single category itself, and we'll quickly see what does this vendor do. I think I did a Google search. Yeah, uh, home ideal dental. It says basically it's a dental clinic and sorts, provides professional services so and so about dental. Currently it's going into doctors, physicians and director fees, which does not look accurate because dental clinic can be a lot of things. So a better note for this would be patient care, and also this tab here should have a search option, and again it could should be hierarchical in itself, that I don't have to. So basically I can just do a search which says contains or starts with. So if I have to do dental search or do an insurance search, so I can know what all nodes are there currently. Since I don't have a search option right now, I have to navigate through these categories to find the right category for myself or for the vendor basically. So now I have patient care in idle dental. So the idea behind this is, this doctor physician director fees looks very specific in this case, and since we don't have any dental clinic services in my category notes, so that is the reason I would just now dragging this down seems a little bit of effort, and I'll put this under patient care. uh, Again, that 4000 GL did not make sense, like classifying into different categories did not make sense because it's a very small amount of the vendor that we have. Okay, equipment sales basically. Now I'll move on to the next vendor. Price Water Coopers goes into audit, tax and services. Looks good, standard. Now Medicus IT. This is going into multiple places. Non-clinical, formerly IT hardware, cloud services, IT products and services. Okay, now let's just do a search on Medicus IT. So the idea is we see that we understand where these vendor can go to, in the sense the type of services it's providing to Innova Healthcare. So medical IT strictly like not strictly, but it provides a medical solution itself. We can see it's written we integrate our services with 50 plus EMR EHR applications, so and so on the lines of services they would provide to doctors and basically healthcare community as a whole. So if we put it under IT product and services non-clinical, it does not make a lot of sense given it's a services that's provided to IT healthcare services. Oh, medical healthcare services. So under clinical we have IT clinical and we have these four nodes. Had we had a generic node say IT healthcare services, we would have classified it under that. But then we also have a EHR EMR node, and I know these provide EHR EMR solutions. So these billing would be for these hosting these servers and providing the EHR EMR services itself. So I would reclassify this under EHR EMR solution. Clear all. Arlington Medical Plaza rent and leases. GL line description supports. Name looks like that. So looks good. I could have done a Google search, but then it seems like a straightforward classification. Now we have WoW marketing, and it's again going into multiple places. So it's a marketing place, WoW management, and can I hide this? No, I cannot. WoW management. Okay. Yeah, full marketing agency. Now my point is, one, if we had a search bar here, it does a Google search, it would be really beneficial. I don't know if I mentioned it before or not. And event marketing campaign. Now I just have to see how it's classifying these GLs. Okay, what happened? There's no data available. Okay. I will do a clear outfit on this. I'll do a double click. So all of these GLs are going into events, which looks good. Digital marketing. Okay, I'll do a double click and okay, it's not giving me a filter to see. Something is off. I'll do a clear all filter and then do it again. Maybe then it will work. Work management. I'll do an ad here. Maybe then it will work. Okay, digital. Okay, it's not working for some reason. Okay, looks off. Looks off. So see, the classification of this looks good. For some reason it's not working. Oh yeah, it's working now. So this looks good. This looks good. How did it happen? Like, what's the criteria to make it work? Doing a double click looks. So see, this particular part is going under marketing print, and these GLs don't necessarily do my job. So, and again, it's a very small spend. So I will just move it under agency fee itself, cause it looks better. And my requirement or ask would be like, how do I just move the entire node to this? And dragging this down is a little bit of a task, you see. And also I would want to know what part of it was reclassified. Yeah, see, This a little bit of, I know there's a uh, documentation that we have. I haven't went through that, but I'll go through it to understand if this can be done better. Yeah, this again is a very small spend and does not make a lot of sense also. Okay, so yeah, clear all filters. Medical society work, e-clinical works. Okay, this is going on a lot of places, which does not make a lot of sense. Let's see what does the vendor does. eClinical works, largest cloud-based EHR software. Straightforward, like nothing to see. I'll just move the entire vendor into EHR. Okay, moved. KPMG standard audit looks good. Healthcare consulting, LEK consulting, Control C, Control V. Basically a consulting firm which does a lot of work. Industries, lot of industries, healthcare and so, does all kinds of consulting. And in my GL I have prospect medical assessment, so healthcare consulting looks good. Had this line description not been there, so I would have put in under professional services or management consulting. Rent and leases, cause JPJ family holding looks like a renting place. The GL also and line description also. JLG family holding equipment. Okay, just provide equipment resources and so and so. But since we have GL and rent, and this necessarily can these people could yeah. Da, 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 da. Okay, rent and leases, base rent. This looks good. Facilities, rent and leases. Yeah. This one part is going into facilities management services. I will just reclassify this part. Allocated cost for. This also again go into rent and leases only, given majority of the spend is going under rent and leases. Yeah, clear all. So yeah, this can be rent of leases of multiple things. So classifying it under rents and leases makes sense. Okay, next we have effective Soft Corporation, it's going into IT consulting currently. GL, I have work order number, payment for team software development. So it looks like some software development thingy. It's going into IT consulting right now. Software development services looks fine. Mostly a software development firm, which also does that. So it's not entirely wrong, but I think moving it under software development makes a lot more sense. Clinical, non-clinical. Dragging and dropping is a little bit of tricky. It's little tricky basically. General software. Yeah. KPMG. Oh no, we did this already. Also, another problem with this is that when I scroll down and do this, it automatically goes to the top vendor again for me. Like, see, if I'm doing a effective cooperation, this, and I do a clear filter, it takes me back to the top, which is a problem because I have to again scroll down. Now currently I'm on like the 10th 12th vendor, but when I go to my 100th vendor or something, it would be a problem to scroll back to this point again. Now we have com, office developer, GL and rent, GL and line description or line looks good. Let's quickly do a Google search. Real estate looks good. Little diversified. Okay, oh, it's going into two places. Audit and tax and services. Why is this happening? So this click has some issue. Reimbursement expenses. No, this does not make sense. I'll just quickly do a Google search on this vendor. It's an architectural consulting firm. Makes sense. Design, construction. It's rightly classified, but one part is not classified right. So I'll move the entire vendor into architectural construction services. Okay. We'll do like 20 odd vendors to just give you an idea. And Bain Capital. I have a problem with this click right now. That, yeah, going into professional services. I saw that we have a management consulting node as well. And it says professional services period, and Bain, uh, like it's not wrongly classified, but moving it into management consulting would make a bit more of sense. Uh, da, da, da. I'm sure there are shortcuts and sorts that was there in the documentation. Maybe I'll go through them and see if this can be done better. Because this drag and drop is a little bit tricky right now. INT office, rent looks good. William construction contractor, dental project, repair and maintenance contractors. Let's see. Building, basically to provide construction services. New residential, so basically they provide construction services. I'll just quickly check what all nodes do I have in construction services. Basically contractors in this, and so contractor looks like a good node for it. They provide the construction services. Okay, looks good. we have? McKesson Medical Surgical. Medical surgical services. Okay, this is currently going into a lot of places. Supplies other. And why is this so? Medical supplies. Okay. Lab supplies, medical supplies. Uh, Delivery supplies and service and solution for you and your patients. Shop medical supplies. All kinds of medical supplies basically. Uh, this is going into this. All of this does not make sense. And clinical supplies other does not also make a lot of sense, because given we know this provides a lot of services, supplies for sure, but since we don't have a definitive supplies अपना line description or something, so it would be better if we classified under surgical supplies, because as a core this vendor's role is to provide surgical supplies. Had we had like more specific notes on the GL front, we could have moved it to something else. And also, since we have a generic L3 here anyway, like clinical supplies or medical surgical supplies, so I think this one's a more appropriate note. And all the other notes is what going into did not make sense. DAS Health, next gen, and again this is also going into IoT consulting and so and so. Let's just do a quick Google search. DAS Health. Oh, something else. Okay, wait. Website. Yeah. Managed healthcare with healthcare technology managed services. Provides all kind of healthcare. So again, as we has made us IT example, so these people provide specifically healthcare services in IT. So giving it under non IT or non clinical IT does not make a lot of sense, because these solutions are specific to healthcare services. And if you do a Google search for next gen ICD, what does next gen ICD mean in healthcare mean? Yeah, so next gen is a leading healthcare provider for IT cloud services specializing in EHR EMR records. Okay, so again we will reclassify this to where this going, monthly billing, next gen ELR. I'll just classify the entire vendor into clinical, IT clinical, EHR EMR, and we just do the last vendor, Conferry, professional fee, Control C. Conferry organizational consulting firm, Talent Drive. Okay, so consulting firm, and it's going into based on placement. first installment, accounts payable for recruitment, professional fee for recruitment. So one thing I know this, let's just go through their site once. Business consulting and services. So they provide talent and all also. It can go under. So I'll just quickly check what do I have under professional services. Currently it's going into professional services, other HR consulting, and we have professional fees, recruitment. So we can move it to HR consulting. So basically they can provide us, okay, this is a bit confusing to put into. I'll also see what do I have under HR. Recruiting. And also I'm not sure how is this spend bifurcated given we have only these. So I'll move it under HR consulting. It's a little tricky actually. Professional fee, recruitment. Also quickly, executive search, leadership, and talent consulting, coaching, talent management, executive recruiting, talent acquisition. So see, given they would have helped in recruitment, and so this is again a gray area. It can go under HR consulting as well, but given I have recruitment as a whole, so I would rather move it under HR recruiting. This makes more sense to me. They could be a third party service provider for recruitment. So I think this would give you all a fair idea and how this made sense. Now coming back to using this tool as a whole, and Informatica, where is this going? Just quickly checking. Cloud hosting, okay, makes sense. Yeah. Now coming to the part of using this tool on classification basis, if I had to like quickly classify all of these vendors, this approach still would take a lot more time, So I think the better way to go about with would be from the starting itself. So for now we have upload new file. So the question one we had was, if we have a file already in place, will there be a way to append a file in new format, basically, because there could be two different sources. We tried to fix it on ETL, but given we had to upload a file with a different format and source here, is there a way? One. Now here we can see that there is a mapping option. So what we were discussing earlier was that it would be a good thing that we have a automatic mapping like a suggestive mapping from the tool itself, and we can remap all of this, the fields which we think are not supposed to be mapped or so. And here we could see that few fields are critical, like line description is critical, and we don't necessarily think that's a critical field. Only two critical fields would be in place, that would be supplier name and spend, and all of that would be good to have fields. So an understanding would be that if this information is not present, the model would not run. So only supplier name and amount should be critical fields. And also, what if we had like say other fields also in the data that we would want to add? So how do we go about with that? That was a question. Like for now we have only specific fields, and we wanted more fields also. So say country, location we wanted in our data. So how do we add that? Then data review makes sense. Also, what is the point of having this cat A list here? Like we did not understand what's the use of this. Like how do we define our? Do we have to go through this list and define these are cat A suppliers, or like basically uh, why do we have it here, the cat A column? So that would be another question. Then classification. So what we had in mind was that currently we think that the model is taking all the fields into account and running the classification, which is not really necessary, because it would depend project to project, that do we want to use GL, do we want to use invoice line descriptions, or do we just want to use supplier names, or sometimes if it's a Concur data, do we just want classification on the basis of just say merchant code itself. So how does this classification tab works? Because it should give us that flexibility to choose columns on the basis of which we want to do our classification. Basically, if I choose supplier name, so it would just take a pivot of supplier name and amount and do the classification work and give me the result. Or if I choose classification with supplier name, GL and invoice, so I should have the option to put the boundary of how much importance should the GL have, should the invoice line description have, all of that. So that would be really helpful. And source also. So suppose I have Concur of Bank of America source. So there are like millions of suppliers in that case sometimes. So I don't want to do the classification on the basis of suppliers, either I would want to do the classification on the basis of merchant code, that is easier. So to have that functionality helps here. Hope that makes sense. Then this review tab. So now you see something I noticed. I added supply level 1, 2, 3 to this, but now it's gone. So if this field or this view is there and I add some views, they should be added and not lost when I switch screens. And as I mentioned, like level 1 to 3 should be in the form of a table, a hierarchy with percentages and amount. That would be really helpful, and we can do this. I know you all are working on this front of making this UI look better. Just a recommendation that this should be a table and of sorts. Uh, and so basically there's a lot of white space currently on the screen which we can avoid. And this dragging, if we have a lot of columns, was also a little bit tricky. And I think if I go through the documentation about shortcuts, maybe it can become better. So we'll look on that as well. Output right now, it just tells me classification. I haven't gone through this a lot, so that's a later step. Taxonomy I have here, this is okay. Also I had a question, if I had to add nodes in my tag. Oh, there's a way to add nodes. Okay, yeah, this makes sense. Also if I had to like merge nodes, what's the criteria there? Like Suppose I had to merge these two nodes, how do I do that? Because that is something we also encounter a lot, that we have to merge our nodes. uh, so if that is an option, is that an option right now to merge nodes? Yeah, no, we can edit it, that's a good thing. But if I had to move my L2 to L3, move this to a different L2, or I had to merge these two nodes, I should have that functionality, because a lot of time we have to dissolve taxonomy nodes, merge taxonomy nodes, move L2 L3s. So this should be a very functional window. I should have that I can do all kinds of mapping in here. Company context, yeah, this pan looks good. Now coming back to this, all of these columns make sense, these are good. Supplier information I have, but what would be beneficial is, so if I had the current L3 or my category here, and again the use of this cate column is still not very clear on our end. Should we classify this to cate, that it goes to backend, that this is cate? But again, since we don't have the category, so which category do I classify it to and move it to cate? Does not make a lot of sense. Then we have override rules. Okay, I think this is this I did not really understand right now. How will this work? Maybe we can add a rule name, target field, and add conditions, and that would be a top priority. So yeah, that. Now these pivots again are helpful, but it would be better if they were in a tabular form, like a classic table. So that would make sense, and I would have a filtering option also. Okay, there are search rows option. So basically this pivot would make a lot more sense if it was under a tabular format rather than the current state that we have. So Wills Tower, against that I have my GLs, against that I have my L3s. Then it would make sense. And as I was having discussions, currently we don't have a functionality to import Excel in this tool. So say it is very difficult for someone to go through 100 suppliers in this setup review. Yeah, this dashboard helps when I'm doing a quick review by category or sort, and I see there's a mapping that I need to change, so I do a pull and I do a drag and drop and pull. But as a regular practice of doing reclassification, what I would rather like is one option of moving my rules to this tool, something I did in Excel, or if there's that functionality is not there. So this supplier tab that is there looks good, and so how ideally the declassification tab would look like if I am doing it on a mass level. This supplier column, second column would be my GL or invoice. So basically I should have an option. Do I want a supplier, do I want, basically the columns I would like to have for my reclassification. Do I need a GL, do I need an invoice? So here I would have GL, here I would have invoice or XYZ column. Then a confidence score maybe of the output that I received, and then my current L3 category, or not L3, basically a pipe separated sprint category, L1, L2, L3, and then here in my column I should have a suggested category column, and I drag down with a search option to put in the new category. I don't know if it's making sense since I currently don't have Excel usable. So basically Excel pasted here, and if I reclassify it, it automatically updates in the backend. That would be really helpful if I want to do a category update in a on a large scale level. This view helps for like category reviewing on a quick basis. But if I have to do a large scale category review, like I have to do an extensive recategorization, I would rather prefer this to be functional and having a category update here. We can discuss more on length on the call we have. So that was another suggestion. And another question that I had was, what about our normalization activity that we do? Because I could not see anywhere the normalization front that we have, like how are we normalizing the vendor, what are the normalized names, so and so, because that is also a very integral part of our spend analytics. So we can have further discussion on that front as well. Other than that, I currently don't have anything on my end. This tool looks functional, like it's fairly quick. That's one good thing that I realize about this tool. The drag and drop could be is easier if it's just down here, but I have to, if I have to like scroll down towards the end, and if there's a another window present here, it becomes a little tricky. This functionality is also really nice if it's going into single category. So yeah, this helps me review it faster. So this is good. Again, that contains search option. If I have, that would be really nice. This also looks good. If I had to do a spend trend and everything, this is really cool to have. And then I am not sure what does this mean. And plus I review score, I am not sure what does this mean. All in all, looks like through 2 weeks we can make it look better and have more discussions. I don't think I have anything else currently. Hope this helps. Yeah.